I told her, let me be the one to be calling you. Just don't call me, let me be the one to be calling you. But that also meant I wasn't going to call her.
Yeah.
Yes. So yes.
Yeah.
But I just also communicated to them the situation that I'm in. Me myself, I also do not understand. But I am very sure that you know, things are going to get clear, you know, day by day. Yeah, because most times you also do not identify yourself at that certain period of time.
Yeah.
And you don't know if you need therapy or if you're running crazy or so yeah. So
Yes.
most times it's difficult, but with time, when you're on that personal growth journey, then you're able to identify and get to know yourself better. And then when you come out as the better version of yourself, then people would actually see. I think it was actually great that, you know, that she went to Mpigi. It was great that she took on this journey because the faith that we used to know wasn't actually serving her purpose anyways. Yeah.
Wow. Well, we're talking about change management on the CEO bench, and my guest this morning, or my guest this afternoon, or this night, or this evening, depending on which part of the world you are, is Faith Aweko. She's a girl who started out as, you know, thinking that I'm a creative mind, and so I need to be in a creative space. But yet, you know, the world says, no, 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 no. You are supposed to be statisticians. That's how they call them. Yes, and go into statistics, study statistics, and, you know, become this person, and, you know, in a formal way. But that wasn't. So she's talking about the change management from that point, the foray into where she is right now, which is not a very simple journey. We want to hear from you. Do you have an experience like Faith? Are you learning something from Faith? The CEO bench exists to bring you intellectual rigor, fusing it with the common challenges of life every single day, so that you can be a person of you know, great repute, moving up. The challenges that you face will take you forward. So the CEO bench is here to bring you such stories, and today Faith Aweko is the person on the bench. Faith, we're going to take a break, but before we go for that break, I want to ask you one more question. Many people will go through what you're going through as CEOs and going forward. Some people end up in drugs, others end up, you know, abusing substance, and so many things. Would you just share quickly how were you able to safeguard yourself away from it? Others have ended up into the, you know, for girls, the old trade, as we say in the holy books. I'm sure you know the trade I'm talking about. Some have gone into that road and ended up in prostitution, and some people have taken advantage of them as girls. We hear some horrendous stories when something like that happened to girls. But here you are, and the story seems to be different. Were you able to keep yourself away from all of these troubles that were competing for your mind, and yet still, you know, steer clear?
Okay, so one thing, actually two things. One, I didn't want to be laughed at. So most times when you are moving on a self-growth journey, and then you back off, people will be like, we told you, all those things. So I didn't want to have that, to be a loser.
Yes.
But also, I really thought, you know, I have come far. Throughout school, I've always wanted to be this. So I didn't want to give up. So giving up wasn't an option. I didn't want to reach an extent and I'm like, I give up. Yet this is something that I've always wanted to really do ever since I was a child. So I'm like, you know, there's no giving up. And then, you know, I don't want my fellow classmates to laugh at me that I dropped out of the university, my business has failed, and I'm now a failure.
Wow. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll dive into our last part of the show, which is transformation. Faith Aweko, Edio Killer, right here on the CEO bench. If you have not picked a word or two from Faith to help you, perhaps you need to go back, play the video again, think through it, and think through your life and see which part of this interview is actually very important for you. Faith and I are going to be back after this break. This is the CEO bench.
Even people are stuck in their own ways. For people who have had a chance to, say, work out of the country, You're dealing with people from different backgrounds, different cultures. Their view of the world is different. You know, you cannot change that. The best you can do is get into that space and find a way of navigating through that.
Okay.
So I don't believe that what I've learned necessarily is going to go into, say, a big organization like Stanbic and change it.
Yeah.
If it may guide me along the way in terms of how to navigate, in terms of how to influence the leaders of that organization, but not necessarily kick the front door and change everything. In fact, I think that's disastrous because you may just end up going backwards. So I think for me is allow yourself to learn from the environment and then adapt and change from within.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of time we see people, Daniel, who go into organization and just start changing, and you find people flying from this organization to another and says, man, the new boss was come.
Correct.
I can't stay there.
Absolutely.
And this happened.
Absolutely.
Is it they themselves who are a problem, those who are running away, or actually the bosses come and want to change everything? Have you ever been in an organization and people have viewed you like that? And if yes, how were you able to deal with it? If not, had you learned these tricks before going inside there so that when you arrived, you are more warmer to people than more, cold to...
And we've seen this even in Uganda, where a CEO comes and tries to change everything overnight, and the organization suffers. You lose your talent. The good people leave the company, they go to other organizations. Your numbers start going down. It's a no-brainer. The good ones are the ones who quickly realize, oh, this is different. I need to adapt. I mean, I always hear people who have worked in Tanzania. Tanzanians are different. The way they do things at their pace and how they
shift and move things,
relate among each other is very different.
Yes.
So if you come with your speed and and forcefulness, you'll get a culture shock. They'll edge you out slowly in their nice way. Before you know it, you've left the company. I remember earlier back in our breweries, we had similar people who used to come from South Africa at the time. Because Africa is obviously very fast-paced. It's about push, push, push. And a lot of them suffered. In fact, a time came when they said, you know what, this thing is not working, let's empower now Ugandans. That's how you guys came through. Yeah.
The CEO Bench, my name is Eddie Okela, Faith Aweko. Faith, welcome back from that break. I want to take you straight to transformation. What does transformation mean to you? I will explain transformation in a very simple way. You've been doing a lot of work, and the work you've been doing is leading to transformation. You yourself, you said you've transformed. But what is transformation to you?
Okay, so transformation is changing from who you thought, like for example, from who I thought I was or who I was before to a better version, or to actually a more defined version of myself.
Yeah. And in that context, we want to dive straight away to the work you've been doing. Tell us more about, Reform Africa. Why Reform Africa? What is the inspiration behind the name, and what is it doing? Where is it leading us? You founded it, you're the CEO, you got a huge nomination towards this. Obviously, you are a lady on a journey to some greatness in future.
So when we were beginning, I shared a little bit of a story of the background of Reform Africa. But Reform Africa is a social business in Uganda here that upcycles plastic polythene waste bags into durable, sustainable, and waterproof bags and accessories. So like I said, I grew up from one of the slum areas in Uganda, that is Naguru Go Down. And I was very greatly affected by plastic pollution as a kid, because when it rains, my family and the whole neighborhood would think of disposing of waste in the trenches, and this blocked the trenches, and this was the major cause of flooding. And so as I grew up, I thought, why wouldn't I work on something on the flooding and the waste pollution in the slum areas? So Reform Africa began basically as a research in 2018 to see how waste is produced, how waste is polluted, and how waste is recycled in Uganda. And in Uganda, we produce over 500 tons of plastic waste every day, and 51% of this waste is not collected.
Wow.
And yes, 51%, and this is the waste that ends in the trenches, in the open places. When we are traveling, we are throwing it on the roadsides, and also in the rural areas.
You always see people just, jump off the, windows or their vehicles and just throw it, but the borders drink and throw it,
And in the rural areas, plastic is left to decompose on its own, yet plastic takes more than 1,000 years to really fully decompose. Holes are dug, and all trash is powered, and then it's buried. So that is what we think, that waste is gone, yes. But this is taking 1,000 years. Now in Kampala, the one of the high causes of air pollution is burning of waste. And with this, we are also burning plastic. And this is causing toxic fumes in the environment. So when we did research on the causes of plastic pollution, and when we went to the solutions, we realized Uganda, we recycle less than 1% of our waste, yet we are producing over 500 tons. And this is also just plastic, like the plastic bottles that are just collected, shredded, and shipped to either China or India. So our recycling capacity in Uganda is very low, and we also realized there is really no solutions, or a few solutions for the plastic bags, the Kaveras. Yet these are the ones that are blocking the trenches. And also these are the ones, like Uganda, we are highly agricultural. But when these plastic bags come in contact with our agricultural soils, they don't allow water filtration in the soil. So that means also there is low produce or low quality of produce. So we started to research more on plastic bags with zero experience, because we all come from different backgrounds.
How many are you, by the way?
I can share about my co-founders. I have two co-founders. One is a refugee from DRC Congo, from Nachiva refugee camp. In DRC, it's really worse than Uganda, because anywhere that is an open place is where waste is, dumped. And in the refugee camp, it's still the same. So another one is Nalima Shamim from Bwaise. We all know Bwaise is one of the highly flooded areas in Uganda. But also the trenches, you find plastics all over. When it finishes, when the rain is done, you see that plastic is like plastics bottles are floating, they are floating. So and this is the plastic that is thrown in the trenches, but as well as plastic that we throw on the roadsides, because when it rains, the water brings it all to us.
So is that what the ladies are collecting that we're seeing on the screen?
So yes, so the ladies collect plastic bags. Those are Kaveras.
Is that you, by the way?
Yes.
Okay,
That is me, and those are one of the two ladies who wash. Yes.
Go on.
So yeah, so we basically started to really do research on plastic bags, how we can recycle, and how we didn't have the idea of the bags in our minds. But when we were in PG doing research, we discovered kids in PG walk long distances to go to school. And with the unforeseen rainy seasons, you find the rain is going to hit them. Some of them have their books in their hands, and others have the books in the Kavera plastic bags. When we interviewed one of their parents, they said that they can afford to buy a Kavera of 100 shillings or 200 every day for a kid. But they aren't able to afford to buy a bag of 20 or 30K. Because having 20K or 30K once is expensive. But them having 100 shillings or 200 to buy a plastic bag is cheap. But yet at the end of it all, at the end of the day, either the plastic bag is torn because it is very light, or the kid has just lost it. So that's also what's causing pollution. But at the end of it all, the mother is spending actually more money because a term has 3 months. That is about 80 to 90,000 every term for plastic bags. So we thought if we'd make a bag for the kids to have their books safely, because also our bags are actually waterproof, so the kids can also walk through the rain and go to school without their books getting wet. But at the same time, we wanted to provide dignity for the kids to have their bags, their books in the bags. Yeah, that's how we zeroed down to
So
make
that's
bags.
actually one of your products we're seeing on the screen?
Yes.
All right, so how much do they go for?
So we make backpacks. Backpacks, people can also use them to have like your laptop.
So for example, like
and
that
come
one.
to and come to work. That one is 60,000.
Is it a backpack? Is that
Yes, that's a backpack.
Okay.
There's space for a laptop, and it's mostly actually used by tourists because they get to travel, and you have your camera, your phone, all safe in case you're going to Bwindi and it's raining. You don't have to worry.
Because it's made out of the recycled bag. And then those ones?
Those ones are cross bags. Yes. We also make school bags for the kids, and for every backpack that you buy, we give out one free school bag for a rural kid in Uganda. But we also work with organizations and NGOs that support production of also bags that we donate. Last year, between November, December, and January, we donated 1,000 bags in the refugee camp with support from UNFPA. They funded the production and distribution of the bags.
Wow.
Yeah, to Shakatu refugee camp.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, that's the story of Faith Aweko right there, our CEO on the CEO bench today. And of course, we want to say thank you very much for being part of the show. Faith, just before we wind up the show, I want to just take you through some very interesting experiences that I see you've gotten here. And I want to go to the awards. What was it like when you were announced as the award winner that day? And they said, Faith, you are the winner of this award. And going back to where the journey started and your dad, did you announce this to your parents?
No, I didn't. Yes, I didn't announce. So the first award that we got was Social Impact Award.
Yeah.
Yes, Social Impact Award happens every year. It's global. It happens every year.
Yeah.
And in Africa, it happens in Uganda.
Yeah.
So we were the winners of Social Impact Award. Most of the awards we've actually got has been funding, financial support. So that has helped also boost us as a company, more especially also during this COVID, that we are able to pay rent and we're able to pay our workers.
And support those who are working with you.
Yes.
Okay. You have reformed that place. I'm seeing a house on the screen. Tell us about that. Is that your office? That's how your homes are built? What's this?
So that was our workshop in Mpigi before we moved to Entebbe.
Okay.
Yeah, that is just our workshop.
So was that built out of the
plastic bottles?
Yes.
Yes.
The whole house?
That is, yes. The Social Innovation Academy.
Yeah.
All the houses are built out of plastic bottles.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. And Faith, what would be your parting shot today? Where do you see, first of all, before you do the parting shot, where do you see yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 50 years from now? And how would you like to be remembered as the founder of Reform Africa? Where do you see Reform Africa?
So so there are two things. Where I see myself is someone of inspiration, to be able to inspire people, especially women, to reach out to their full potentials, because I believe a lot of women have dreams, a lot of women have potentials that are seated there, you know, because they are afraid of change, or they are afraid of where to start from. So I want to be able to share my story fully, so that people can be inspired, and they, you know, when they become better versions of themselves, and also live to their fullest potential. And with Reform Africa, we would like to open up a recycling hub, because currently we just go trained in schools, but we want to open up a recycling hub where people come and learn about recycling. And we've partly moved away, not really moved away, but we are not only actually now recycling plastic polythene bags, but we've now, because that is soft plastic, we've now moved to recycling hard plastic. We acquired machines from Plastic Renewer in Austria that makes machines that recycle hard plastics. So we're currently making pegs for hanging clothes online, but that is made out of broken buckets and broken chairs.
Wow. Faith, thank you very much. Let's talk about health and fitness. You said you dived into health and fitness last week. In fact, one of the people who nominated you is called Diwato Chom. He's a friend of mine, but also transformed his life when he went to do his master's in the UK at Swansea University. He came back a different person altogether, no stomach, looking really good, and then so he was one of the people who nominated you, among about another 15 other people who nominated you to come. This is not Okila Health and Fitness, this is the CEO bench. So we won't talk very much about the Okila Health and Fitness things there. That's totally a different interview altogether. But is it important? Why did you pick on, you know, looking after your health and put your health goals and fitness goals up? What turned around your mind to think about this? Not very many people find that very useful for them when they are in this kind of work. Okay,
so I can first share like what fitness has helped me do. So fitness, putting away the goals of being fit and all that, it has helped me to really boost my confidence and discipline in life, consistency, because I believe if I am able, because I'm a bodybuilder, so I do lift weight, but if I am able to really push myself to lift from 5 kg, 10 to 20 to 50, I believe I am able to really, you know, if I set my mind on something in the professional world, I am able to achieve it, because I was able to achieve it through fitness. So, yes, so with also that, I've learned a lot through, I've learned a lot through fitness, mostly to like, it's been a personal growth journey to get to know my potentials, to get to know my limit, because I also realized actually human beings, we are limitless. Most times it's only our body that is tired, but our mind, it's only our mind, yes, tired, it's only the mind that is tired, because sometimes I get to push myself, you know, I tell my coach I am tired, it's like, you are not tired. So I realize fitness is just a mind game, and if you are able to really work on that, then in the professional world it will just be like a walkover. Wow.
Well, if you fear fitness, Faith has it there for you, and we always say that a fit mind is a mind that is going to be successful, and you cannot be productive when you are, you know, sick. And I've always told people, you can't make money when you are sick, neither can you spend money when you are sick, nor can your productivity improve when you are unwell or when you are sick. You cannot be, you know, broke and unfit. Certainly God will reject you, yes. So the point, but that's my philosophy. Faith, we're gonna have to bring the interview to a close, but I have a question here for you from one Frank Tugume. Says the best show on Friday and in the country. Welcome to the CEO bench, guys. Thank you very much. But Faith, I have a question for you. How do you manage losses while doing businesses? As an entrepreneur, now that's a question for you. How do you manage losses while doing businesses? Coming from Frank Tugume.
So, like in business, you have to have an open mind, because loss, with loss, I take it as a lesson. I try as much as possible, business and personal life, at my lowest, or at if I'm experiencing loss, which lessons can I really learn from this?
Yeah.
You know, that helps me to make better decisions in life in the future, because it's yes, I can have maybe a loss of 10M, but probably in the future I might even have a loss of 100M. But so experiencing such helps me to get ready for even more bigger challenges in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Faith, for coming to the CEO Bench. And what is your parting shot today? If you're to leave us, what would you say to the people who nominated you? What would be the message to the people who nominated you to come to the CEO Bench? If you look into that camera, yes.
I would like to thank them. I would like to thank everyone who nominated me to be on the CEO Bench. It's a privilege to sit here and get interviewed, but also thank you to everyone who is listening. But my call is for people to be able to discover their potentials and reach their highest version.
Wow.